Stephen here for Bland Designs, and today I thought I'd do something a little different. I'm going to do a mixed media tag, and I'm using one of the large tags from Ranger, and this tag has already been pre-gessoed, and I'm trying to do something that's sort of Picasso-like. What I mean by that is I found a book. I actually bought a book at an old bookstore that was all about Picasso. Had a lot of color plates of his various artworks, and so I bought it, brought it home, chopped it up, and I'm really interested in the images that are in it. Well, I found this image, this nude, which I thought I might use on this because I want to use this new stencil from Mike Deacon that I have here. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this yet, but this is what I'm going to do with this tag, and I've pulled out a lot of the stuff I'm thinking of using. I want to use this stencil by Tim Holtz called the Crocodile just for the patterning, and I'm going to use that as my background, and I'm going to use his new Distress Oxide inks as well, and I have them here in about a variety of fairly bright colors, and I'm going to lay down various layers of these, and I'm also going to spray them with some water to get that patina look that they have, and I don't know, I'm just going to go from there. I found this in my stash, the love of my life. It's a rub-on, so I thought maybe I'll try that too. I don't know how well that's going to work on the surface. I've got out a couple of pens, a white Uniball and a Football black as well, because I want to probably do a scribbly border or something around this or add some shadow effects in. And I've got out my texture paste in matte for gluing down my image as well. So I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, but we're going to have a little fun and we're going to try. So stay with me and we'll see what happens. So the first thing I want to do, and I am doing this all in real time, unless certain parts of it get a little long. Oh yeah, I also got some washi tape. I don't know if I'm going to use washi tape or not, but we'll try it. If this gets a little bit long in certain sections, I may fast forward it a bit or pause the video and cut out a few things. But let's see. So I have the stencil. I've already gessoed my tag, as I said. So I'm just going to use this to create my background. I think I'm going to spray it with a little bit of repositionable spray. I like to do this with my stencils because it, especially ones that have the finer little openings, it keeps things stuck down on the tag so that I don't have to worry as much about ink or anything going underneath it. So I'm just going to lay that down right here and just grab a color and start. I guess we'll go with a lighter color to start with. This is fossilized amber. And if you haven't tried these new Tim Holtz inks, they're great. Let's go in with a little bit of the broken china. I love these inks because they are both creamy and water resistant. And next we'll use the worn lipstick. I am putting them on fairly heavy because I do want to use the reactive properties with the water. This is Wilted Violet. And these colors are fairly brilliant. And again, I'm thinking of some of Picasso's other works and how, you know, he used a lot of a variety of colors in many of his prints. And also because this image that I'm using is a little bit on the dark, well, it's just a plain sort of brown color. I want to, at least in the background, give it a little boost here. Okay, peel that up. Let's go over here to this point. I'm not really trying to match the stencil up here because overlap's not a problem. So the one thing about the Distress Oxide inks, they do let the other colors come up underneath them and it doesn't turn to mud, which is really nice because I'm really good at making mud with other paints and with distress inks as well. And you just go down along the opposite way because this would be something Picasso would probably do. If you look at his paintings, the lines and things seem to go every which way. I'm sure he had a plan when he did those, but that's part of his style. So I'm just trying to imitate that style. What color haven't I used on here? Oh, a little bit of this. And we got a little section down here we haven't done anything with yet, so okay. So now I've got these. Now I do have sort of some lines happening here, but I'm not going to worry about that. But what I want to do next is I want to spritz it with a little water and let it work its magic. I don't know if you can see, but it is starting to run a little bit, but I am getting some of these little halo marks, and I'm going to hit it with a heat gun right now. So I don't want to run too much. I find that the Distress Oxide inks work best when you have a surface that's been pre-treated with gesso. They'll work okay on just plain cardstock as well, but I find that they have more reaction when they're sitting on gesso because when you hit them with the water, it's not absorbing so much into your substrate. The gesso is helping it stay on top. And I'm getting some puddling around here. We'll have a little bit more water, but that's okay. It's looking a little bit more abstract, and that's what I want to go for. I'm just going to grab a paper towel. Just to dab up some of those puddles. And I'm just going to spritz it a little bit more. And I may part up and let some of this run a little bit. And you see again, this is the property of the oxide inks, that although I'm wetting them and they're running, they're not mixing in with the other colors and creating mud. You can see the other colors underneath them. And I'm just going to get Now the one problem though, these are still water reactive. So if you're going to put another wet medium on top of these, even after you have them dry, they are still going to run. But there's a trick, and I'm going to try that trick in a moment. Once I get this the way I want it, I'm just going to dab a little off the bottom here. And I think I want a little more of a run down here. So how's that? Do I need any more? I think I'm going to put this on so that I just get some. Actually, I'm going to do it in my hand. I'm just going to and flick it. I want to get that watermark effect. Okay. Just let that sit. Oops. I'm going to dry that. So you can see that I'm getting the halo effect. I'll hold it up a little closer for you to take a look at once I get this a little bit more dry. So my colors have become a little bit more muted doing this, but that's okay. I've got some of my image over here. Now I want this to be very, very dry before I do this next little thing. The next thing I'm going to do is, because I'm going to put a wet medium, because I'm going to use the texture paste to put this down, and I don't really want the color to run too much, and I am going to use this stencil as well, and I'm not sure how I'm going to use the stencil yet. I might use it a black permanent ink on that, but I don't want these colors to run anymore. So I'm going to get out another product by Tim Holtz called Microglaze, and the Microglaze is like a wax, and you just spread it with your finger over your area where you don't want the wet medium to be where you don't want your medium to be reactivated with water, and it protects it. Or so the theory goes. Now I have used that product once before, but I really haven't used it. I've never used it with the oxide inks. But I did see a video on YouTube where somebody did do this, might have been Tim Holtz himself, and it seemed to work very well. So that's what I'm going to do here. Just a few more passes with the heat gun. Okay, so let me grab the Microglaze. And here it is. And this is what it looks like. It comes in a very small little bottle. Now, actually I said put it on with your fingers, but I just remembered that Tim Holtz said that his little applicators fit perfect in here. So let me grab a new applicator. Brand new package of these. I always have some of these on hand. I love them. I use them for all kinds of things. You don't just have to use them with inks. You can use them with your gesso. They're great for applying clear gesso. Okay. And he says they'll fit right in this little pot. And look at that. It does. Now, I don't think you need very much of this. And it's kind of waxy. You can feel it. And you can see how little of it I'm really using. It doesn't change the color. Because it's more of a wax, it's not wet, it's not moving the medium around. So it just acts as a protective coat. So I think I have more than enough on here. just rubbing it in. Okay, and then he says you can just take this little thing off, leave it right in the jar, and there it'll be the next time you want to use it. So that's kind of convenient. Now, I don't know if you need to or not, but I'm just going to give it a little buff. You see none of the color's coming off. Okay, so I've got my background done. So now I think I want to put this little lady on here. And she's just a little too long to get that foot on, but that's okay. I'll be cutting her foot off. And I want her to fill up this whole spot of it as much as possible, so I'm not going to cut her off at any other point. So I'll get out my texture paste. This is the matte. This is Ranger texture paste. You could use any kind of, or not, sorry, it's not. Wait, this is texture paste. Ooh, almost made a mistake. I don't want to use texture paste. I want to use collage medium. Yes, almost made a fatal error there. Okay, it's distressed collage medium, of course, that I want to use. You can use any kind of matte medium for this. I do like Tim Holtz's though, and I have Tim Holtz's little, and that little brush is dried up. I need to recondition that. Let's try this one. Guess I didn't clean that other one very well. I'm just going to lay the layer down here where I'm going to be putting my image. And notice none of the color came up. Now if that had not been coated with that microglaze, I would have got some of the color running on me. And then I'm going to put some on the back of the image as well. This is just to help avoid wrinkling as much as possible. This is on a fairly sturdy magazine, glossy magazine paper, so it shouldn't wrinkle too much at all. And I'm going to seal it to make sure it's down well. Okay, put that in water, put the cap on this, and do a little cleanup here. Of course, I'm using a Ranger No Stick matte. They're the best for cleaning up. Actually, I'm lying. This is not a Ranger matte. This is actually a Coquina matte. It's one for cooking. They are great. They're a little less expensive than the Ranger ones. You get one or two in a package. I think you get one in a package for about $9.99, but oftentimes the grocery stores put them on sale. They're meant for cooking. They're heat resistant, but they're just like the Tim Holtz matte, and they work just as well, and they're a good size, and they're cheaper. So let's hit this with the heat dryer. Now the one thing I'm wondering now, since I put the microglaze on this, and I want to use this stencil next, I am wondering how well the ink is going to take to this. So I think I might have to use something like Stays On ink for this. I could use acrylic paint. I could actually use a texture paste on this too, but no, I think I'm going to keep it fairly simple. Now I'm just thinking where I'm going to put that image in relationship to where I'm going to put this rub on. I'm going to put the rub on at the bottom, and I think I'll use, put this image right here, or I could use it that way. No, I think I'm going to use it that way. Okay, I think I'm just pretty much dry. Okay, now we got to do a little amputation here because I got this foot hanging out over the edge and I don't want that foot. Sorry, ouch. Okay, snipped off the toes. That looks better. Okay, now I want to use this stencil, and I'm thinking maybe I should ground it more. Maybe it should go down here, but then where will I put... Yeah, I might put that one across there. So I think this would be better down here than up here, looking at her, the proportions. Of course, it could go there. And then just move this up so you can see a little bit better. Then this could go down along here, at the bottom. This could come a little lower. I think I want this at the bottom, although it may blend in too much. I don't know. You know, I think I want it at the bottom, so I think I'm going to put this one right there, and I think I'm going to use some StazOn ink for that. Nope, that's not StazOn. This is my set of StazOn, and StazOns come in colors. So I could either do this in black, like a line drawing, or I could do it in a dark color. This is a jet black. I could do it in a more into the brown, like the color that she is. I think I want more contrast. I think I'm going to use the black. And I'm going to apply this with the ink applicator and a new sponge. Now the reason I'm using StazOn, as I've mentioned, is because I put that microglaze on, and I don't know if that microglaze is going to act as a resist. So if I used anything that was water-based, then it would just repel it. And I'm going to put this on fairly heavy, because I want it to show up over top of the color. Okay. Could use a little bit more up here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm liking that. So that was with the StazOn. And you know, I think I should take this and yeah, I can't attach it to the base. Okay, well, I'll just put that to a side right now. Okay. Now, I think I'll just hit it with the heat dryer, even though it's solvent ink, just to sort of set it. Okay, and now I'm thinking that maybe she needs a little bit of a shadow line, so I've got my football here. I don't know how well this is going to write on the microglaze, but let's just see. I guess it'll work okay. Now I could use a Pit pen with this. I don't think I will. Because I was thinking with the Pit pen it's Indian ink and I can smear it a little bit out, but I don't think I want to smear it because these lines are fairly definite that are here. So I kind of want to make the line around her. Oops, I went off the line. Now the microglaze is giving me a little bit of open time with this pen, but I think I'll hit it with the heat gun after I'm done just to make sure it's dry. If you're getting bored watching this, you can fast forward the video. Pen is not responding very well to that area. But that's okay. The line varies in size a little bit. That's not so bad. Kind of gives it a sketchy look. Now I'm just wondering if I should widen the line this way and not do anything down here, or should I go all the way around her? I think I just want to make a shadow on one side so the light's coming across this way. So I think I'll just broaden the line a little bit. I'm wiping it off on my paper towel a little bit because I think some of the microglaze might actually be clogging the tip of this a little bit. So I'm just widening it. Could have got a coffee while I was doing this. Maybe you already have. Speaking of which, I've got mine just sitting over here up to the side, and it's probably time to have a little sip of it. I have a tendency to make coffee for myself when I'm doing things like this and then not drinking it, or end up drinking it cold, which actually doesn't bother me. Okay, that's all I'm going to do with that for now. Alright, let's hit it with the heat gun for a few seconds. Just to set it. Okay, now, where's that rub-on? Here's the rub-on. I'm not sure how well this is going to show up. And this rub-on I've had for a while, and sometimes, if you've had the rub-on sitting for a long time, they dry out. And then they don't rub off, or they rub off in pieces. So, let's hope for the best. Let's just lift the corner and see. Yeah, this little rub-on is not rubbing on. I don't know if it's because of... Okay. When in doubt, I'm going to cut it out. I'm just going to go around it, and leaving just a very faint border of the vellum. And then when I use some of the collage medium, it should stick it down and make what's left of the vellum go somewhat translucent. It won't go perfectly clear. It'll be a little foggy, but that I think won't hurt what I'm doing here, because might actually make it stand out a little bit more. We'll see. I have several theories. We'll see which theory comes true. So I'm not being very exact with this. Just leaving a little bit of a light border all the way around. Okay, let's get out the texture paste. Got my brush sitting over here in water to keep it from drying out. So now I have to dry it out on the paper towel. Let's get those out of our way. Okay, do like I did last time, just put down a thin layer and get this on the side of the right side of it. Okay. Now, for the most part, the vellum has disappeared into the background, so you'd never know that I did not use that rub-on the way a rub-on's supposed to be used. So let's dry it. So that's a way. Don't fear if your rub-ons are too old and they won't rub off, then just cut around them and stick them down with some matte medium or some Ranger collage medium. Both are the same thing anyways. Okay, now I'm thinking, what can I do up here? Maybe add some more words. I don't know, have a sip of my coffee and think about this for a second. Let me take a look at my Tim Holtz stash of chit-chat words and see if there's something I can find that might work well. So these are the big chat words. It's the love of my life. Do I want to use white ones? May I use black ones? This comes in white and in black. Now there's the word beautiful. Or beyond beautiful. Well, that would be good. Okay, so let's get those out. Actually, I've had these for quite a while. I never really used them. And then I noticed that Mike Deacon uses these quite a bit on his pages. And so that kind of inspired me to get them out. Okay, they're not going to stick. All right, we're going to have to do a little gluing. So where's my collage? This is my go-to collage glue stick, also from Ranger. So we'll just add a little glue. I may have to go over the top of this with some of the collage medium. Let's get it straight. Again, it may not have been sticking because of that microglaze, because it is essentially a very fine wax. And I think I want to line up there. That fills in that space nicely. Okay. I think for good measure though, I do want to just lightly go over it with a little bit of the collage medium. So Oops, get my brush out. Another way you can keep your brush from drying out if you know you're going to be using it a lot on a project is just wrap it in a damp baby wipe, and which is great if you're at a crop or something and you don't really want to have a big pot of water sitting around. Okay. And we're going to hit that again with the heat gun for a few seconds. Are you still with me? I hope so. I had a bit of a plan when I started this. I don't usually have any kind of plan when I start something, but I knew I wanted to use a Picasso image, and I knew I wanted to use this particular stencil. And I thought, well, why not get out the Distress Oxide inks, because they're a relatively new product, and give them a try as well. Okay. So now, I think we need a border. I think I'll do the border using Stays On again. I put my Stays On away. Where did I? Oh no, they're over here. But I think I'll do the border in a brown shade. Ganache. Is that ganache? 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 Whatever. It's brown. And get out another foam pad. Again, the reason I'm using this is because this is permanent, and I don't want the edges of this to smudge when it gets handled. This was a new foam pad, so anytime you use a new foam pad, you really gotta season it. Get it really inky. Okay. Sorry, I keep going out of the shot. So the problem is, when you make one of these videos, the camera's overhead, and I have my computer screen in front of me, and I can see what you see, but I can't be looking at the computer screen and trying to work on the project at the same time. So sometimes I kind of forget about position, because the camera doesn't really give me a wide area to work in. So sorry if I go out of shot sometimes. Actually, I think I want to make that a little bit bolder, so I think I'll go in a little bit. Okay. All right. Now, what else does this need? I think it could use, I'm going to grab my coffee again here. I think it needs some form of a border around here too. A little sketchy border. Now, do I use football? What else do I have to choose from? I have a Faber-Castell brush pit pen, but that's India ink, and that may resist. I have a Sharpie, so maybe we do sort of a little scribbly. This is kind of, the microglaze is kind of putting up a little bit of a resist here to this, but actually that's okay because it makes the border a little more subtle. I'm just sort of pretending that I'm writing really fast. Actually, this would be neat handwriting for me. I can't even read my own handwriting. It is so horrible. That's why I never journal in anything. Because I can't even read it. And I know people always say, well, you know, you should always have a little bit of your own handwriting in something. No, I don't. I don't care what people say. I hate my handwriting. I can't read it anyways. I don't use it. So we're just about finished. I don't know if you can see this border in the video or not. Okay, and I think I need to do one of Mike Deacon's little tricks, and that's where he puts a little line around boxes, word boxes. I am going to try it with the Pitt pen. I'm just wondering if I should smear it. Yeah, I think I will smear it. Just crunching it up a little bit. Just gives it a little bit of a shadow. Okay, so are we done? Well, yeah, I think I'm going to call it done. It's a smaller thing than an art journal page, so I don't want to clutter it up with a lot of other stuff. Actually, where did I put that Pitt pen? I had this line around her, but I think I want to grunge that up a little bit more. So, yeah. Yeah, I like that a little bit. Like that a little better. Okay. Should I grunge it on this side? I said the light was coming from this way, but I'm just wondering. Ooh, decisions. When you get down to this stage of it, this is where you don't know when to quit. And, you know, it could be the rule of diminishing returns here. Just a little. Okay, that's all, a little bit down here. Okay. Done. So there you are. So that's the first art journal tag for my art journal tag book. And this is what the book looks like. I haven't done anything with the cover yet, but this one's just going to drop right in here. So, I hope you enjoyed that video. It's a process video, and you saw me thinking out loud about things I'm doing, and I think it turned out not too bad. So, stay tuned for another one of these in the future. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.